My dear friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm Ken, and today I will take you on a culinary journey through Greece featuring Tiropita. That's right, Tiropita is that all-famous and that dish that everybody knows and loves. It is the Greek feta pie in the phyllo dough. Very easy to make, very delicious, and there is not a Greek on the planet that does not eat this, know how to make this, or know somebody or related to somebody that knows how to make this dish. And today I'm going to show you how to make it very quickly, very easily in your own kitchen with only a few ingredients. There's nothing to this. You're going to need, very simply, some phyllo dough, about a pound or so of feta, can't forget the feta, 3 eggs, a little olive oil, and pepper. The salt in here is just a prop for today. I'm not using any salt whatsoever because the feta itself uses or has enough salt in it that you don't need anymore. So to start us off, I'm gonna take and crack 3 eggs into our bowl. Chuck those out here. Very easy. And the eggs in this recipe will act as a binder and they'll help just keep everything together. And I'm gonna do some fresh cracked black pepper. Again, I'm not using any salt in this whatsoever, only because there's enough salt in the feta, believe me, to carry this dish. So in will go some ground pepper. I would guesstimate this somewhere around, depending on your taste, anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon, depending on how much you like. And just gently whip that up. So you're actually making almost like a scrambled egg, if you will. And this is what's going to help keep the feta binded. The next step in this is I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, of course, about maybe a couple of tablespoons. I don't think you need anything more than that. And again, continue whisking as you go along. This is going to be our main flavor base for this. So now that that is done, and it is whisked up, here comes the fun part. We're gonna start crumbling our feta into our dish here, and actually our bowl, and it doesn't really matter, big chunks or small chunks, whatever works for you. This is one of the most therapeutic things for me, without making a mess either. And I'm just gonna take the feta and just crumble it all up. And you're gonna use, I know it may seem like a lot of feta, but it really isn't, because you're gonna spread it over a 14 by 10 pan. It's like a stress reliever, actually. So now that our feta is all ground up and ready to go, what I'm gonna do is just very quickly incorporate it all with the egg mixture, the olive oil, and a little bit of pepper that we've got in here. And it's almost gonna become like a gluey paste, something very thick. So what you may want to do is actually, I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil just to help kind of loosen it up. Perfect. Just like that. This recipe is older than dirt. There is nothing about this recipe that really changes. You may want to add, depending on the part of Greece that this recipe is made in, they may add some mizithra, they may add whatever kind of local cheeses are available, but overall, this is just the classic recipe. So what we're gonna do is first take our baking sheet and just slowly brush olive oil on the bottom. You don't need a heavy, thick layer. You don't need to make this kind of dripping in olive oil, just enough so it doesn't kind of stick at the bottom, which is perfect. For this, I'm using a 14 by 10 pan baking sheet, actually, which actually works out perfect for the phyllo dough, the size of the sheets. The first sheet goes down, just like that. And again, a little bit of olive oil. And the rule for me is if you're making something that's savory and you're using phyllo, use olive oil in between the sheets. If you're using something that's sweet, like a baklava or a galactoburiko or something along those lines, then use melted butter. Another sheet goes down. I wouldn't worry too much about it as well if you got some sheets that are tearing or if they got some holes in them. It doesn't matter. No worries. It'll all kind of come out in the wash anyway as you cover this up. So again, some more olive oil. And I just added the last layer of phyllo, which is about 5 on the bottom. And you want a little bit of body to this as well. So that's why I don't recommend using 1 or 2. You don't want to go chintzy on the phyllo. Not that it's expensive, but you want the pita itself to hold as well. So very important there. So that's done. You with me so far? There's like nothing to this whatsoever. It's super easy. 5 sheets of phyllo on the bottom, layered or brushed in between with olive oil, and that's it. Now, we go back to our mixture of feta, and what I'm gonna do is just very simply, just pour it in there. That's awesome. Just gonna move that out of here. And with a spatula or whatever you have, spread it around. Get it all about as evenly as you can possibly get this, and spread it around to all the corners. You want this somewhere around 3/4 of an inch to about 1.5 inches, give or take. You don't want anything too thick, but you don't want anything kind of runny and weak either. All right. So now that that's taken care of, we continue on with the topping. And the top, again, 5 sheets, same exact process as we did on the bottom. Cover it up so it touches and it kind of seals, because you want to kind of create that pocket of deliciousness in there. A little more olive oil. Continue to baste this up. This is going to be so amazing. And there we have our last layer of our phyllo. It's just going on top. I may need a little olive oil, but what are you going to do? All right, so our phyllo is done. Our pita is ready to go. Now, to cover this up, what we're going to do is just carefully take this and just twist it over itself. So in other words, the bottom and the top layer of phyllo is actually going to get kind of curled over. And when you do this, it also seals up everything inside. And just like that, just tuck it under. It's almost like making pizza dough, if you will, where you just turn around and turn up the edges so it'll form like a little pocket of love in there. Deliciousness. All right, that's perfect. Just like that. Nothing fancy. This is just straight up old-fashioned cooking. And one last bit of olive oil all around, just to kind of moisten up and crisp up the top layer of the phyllo. And we're just about done. And now this will go into a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Keep an eye on it depending on your oven, because what will happen is you want this again to go like a crispy golden brown. You don't want this to burn. And when it's done, just pop it out. And that's it. That's all there is to this. And it's ready to go. Alrighty, so I just pulled this out of the oven about 20 minutes ago, so it's had a chance to rest. It's absolutely done to perfection. The color is actually bang on. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually cut this up and serve this family style right on my cutting board, just like that. Easy peasy, nothing to it. And to make things even simpler, I'm gonna use a pizza cutter. You cannot get any easier than this, and this will feed a crowd. I'm gonna make fairly large pieces, so I'm gonna make about 8 pieces. So let's throw this on our plate and see what the moment of truth is. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty. Nice, light, flaky phyllo dough. And our egg inside is done. Actually, screw the fork. I'm actually gonna just take a piece and shove this in my mouth. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. This is done to perfection. The feta, the egg, it's timed up nicely. The phyllo is nice and crusty, which is exactly what we want. And the flavors is not too salty because I haven't added any salt in this, and it's just straight the saltiness or the brininess of the feta. Perfect. So this is how easy making an authentic, traditional tiropita is right in your own home, and with just a few ingredients: eggs, feta, phyllo, and olive oil. That's it. And pepper, and you're done. So I'm Ken. That's the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and please hit the like button, subscribe, share this with your friends, with your family. This is one of these dishes that everybody can just get right into. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.